everyone, Roxanne here from FinanceRocks.com. Today I wanted to share 10 fun weekend activities that don't cost any money. Now I wanted to share this because Americans spend more on the weekends than during the week. So if you are looking for ways and times to save money, look to your weekend. Now I found this Gallup poll from 2009 that said, on Saturdays, for example, Americans spend on average $76. This is the day of the week where spending is the highest, followed by Friday at an average of $73 per Friday. Now, I tried to find a more recent poll than this one. This one was in 2009. So once you account for inflation, that means weekend spending is probably much higher than this now. Just want to give you about an idea of how much we are spending on the weekends. Do you know how much you spend on the weekends? Now, before we get into the tips, I just wanted to share a little bit on happiness. Most people think that in order to save money, it means cutting happiness and having less happiness. I don't believe that is the case. I try to find ways to save money and be happy and, find joy. And we're pretty lucky that a lot of the things that bring us the most joy are free. They say the best things in life are free. Spending time with family, spending time in nature, rest and relaxation, all those things can actually cost very little money. In accounting, we have this expression that says there's no such thing as a free lunch. So nothing's really truly free. Even an activity that seems free, like going hiking, would have some hidden costs like gas to drive to the trailhead, possibly parking fees, possibly entrance fees, sunscreen and bug repellent costs. While nothing's really truly free, for the sake of this video, I'm using things that are basically very inexpensive. So let's get into it. Here are my 10 fun free things to do on the weekends. The first one is to build blanket forts or pillow forts. Blanket forts are fun everyone can enjoy. Now, I am a full-grown woman. I don't know if it's just the kid in me, but I love a blanket fort even now. In fact, for one of my memorable moments in 2019, we did a port in a fort night. So we had heard of port from one of Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown episodes where he was in Portugal and talking about port wine, and we had never had it before. We were going to try it, and we thought it'd be fun, make it a little extra fun to build a fort and make it port in a fort, essentially. Now, the wine here is optional. Really, the most of the fun that came from this was actually building the fort in our living room. And in addition to forts, I've also heard of people doing backyard camping, so setting up a tent in the backyard, so kind of like camping, but just at home. Also pitching tents in the house. So there's a few different variations here of how to have a little bit more fun at home on the weekends. Fun-free weekend activity number 2, go for a walk. Whether it's in your neighborhood or out in nature, a walk is a great inexpensive activity, and humans were made to walk. Something about it just makes our brains feel good. In fact, they say that exercise stimulates the production of endorphins, chemicals in our brain that are the body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. Plus, it's going to make your dog really happy. Fun-free weekend activity number 3, enjoy a picnic. I was raised by picnic people. And while our picnics were never very fancy, we often just packed picnic in a backpack, grocery shopping bags, plastic bags. It was always fun to throw a spread out at a picnic table at a park. Now, don't feel pressured to make your picnic fancy. The definition of a picnic is actually just a meal taken outdoors as part of an excursion. So this could simply be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It does not have to be fancy. You do not need a wicker basket or a plaid blanket. You don't. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just focus on making it a fun adventure. Fun-free weekend activity number 4 is to document your life today in photos. I'm a really sentimental person. I really enjoy looking back at old photos because it just amazes me how much I forget about things I've done, places I've lived, and that's why I love this tip so much. So to do this, just go around your house and take pictures of different things. Maybe it's a picture from your couch, view from the sofa. Take a photo of your favorite room in the house, that piece of furniture that you painted, a stack of books that you're reading. your husband sitting at his computer working, the contents of your fridge. It doesn't have to be particularly noteworthy, just anything that'll remind you of your life right now. And P.S., sorry in advance to any spouses or kids that don't love having their photo taken. Fun-free weekend activity number 5 is a movie night at home with salt and vinegar popcorn. So let's put those streaming services to use. Pull up that movie that we've been saying we're gonna watch for the last few months. And I especially love this tip because I love homemade popcorn. Now, I was cruising on the internet one time, as we do, and read that one of Oprah's favorite healthy snacks is homemade air-popped popcorn. Now I make this popcorn all the time. I love it. To make this, you can buy the big bulk jar of kernels instead of buying individual popcorn bags. You put a couple of tablespoons of popcorn in just a plain brown paper lunch bag. Fold the top of the bag down twice. Throw it in the microwave, and I just use the regular popcorn setting. I do stand by to listen because it takes a little less than that. You want to pull it out when it stops popping so that none of the kernels burn. Once it's done popping, you can pour it into a regular bowl. Pour in any oil or melted butter. I like to use avocado oil. I find that to be the tastiest. And then I add salt and this vinegar powder. I realize these look very suspicious, but here are my little baggies of vinegar powder. And I just bought these online. There's a bunch of different varieties. I could not find this in my store, so. And you can really put any kind of topping on it when it comes out. I've done honey and cinnamon before, so just drizzle honey and put cinnamon on it. I've done melted butter and pepper. We've done ranch. Taco seasoning is one that I've heard of. So you don't have to do salt and vinegar if that's not your thing, but it should be because it's delicious. Oh, also, don't put wet ingredients on your popcorn, like pickle juice or liquid vinegar, because those liquid ingredients will essentially make your popcorn melt, like dissolve. It's strange. Activity number 6 is to play board games and card games. Now, because of coronavirus, we have been playing games online more, and it turns out there's a lot of fun, inexpensive, or free games that you can play online with your friends and family. Some of the popular ones are Cards Against Humanity, Jackbox games, and Words with Friends. And we just found out that our favorite board game, actually, called Dominion, is available to play online with up to 4 players. Idea number 7, arts and crafts. I've always considered myself to be a crafter, so I had to include this on here. There are lots of inexpensive crafts and art projects that you can do at home. Now, you can spend a lot on some arts and crafts, oil painting, but many are very affordable. For example, right now I am working on being able to draw a little better, which requires nothing more than some pencil lead and paper. And honestly, most of the cost is probably in erasers. Not to mention, there is a whole category of trash to treasure crafts that are actually good for the environment because you are reusing things and recycling things into perhaps wall art or other useful household items. I've even made wall art out of toilet paper rolls, like the used cardboard rolls, and I'm sure there's a lot of those floating around right now. You know who you are. Activity number 8, treat yourself to a home spa night. So who among us actually takes enough time for rest and relaxation? Very few people by my estimation. I like to do DIY facial recipes and lip scrubs, body scrubs, those kinds of things. My favorite one is a facial that is made out of just bananas, honey, and oats. Find some DIY recipes online. I'm sure you have a lot of ingredients already at your house that you could use for DIY facials that are very affordable. And if you are into scrubs, and I think some of you want some scrubs, you can find recipes that actually use used coffee grounds. So you just take them out of your coffee pot and make scrubs out of them. Activity number 9 is to make a digital vision board or goal board. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what this is, it is a collection of photos or words or phrases or quotes that represent your goals. Now, typically they are put on cork or poster boards with printed off images or images from magazines. I love making these because I like designing the boards, and I also find that they're helpful for keeping me motivated to keep making progress on the goals that I have set. You can make vision boards for less if you don't want to pay to have images printed or for a poster board. You can just make a digital vision board. You could use Pinterest for this, that's a really popular option, or there are apps where you can import images and easily rearrange them. Once you have the board created, you can save it as the desktop image on your computer or as the background on your phone. And finally, tip number 10 is to write or journal. Now, I've come to enjoy writing more and more this last year, and it costs very little. Whether you are writing a short fictional story, poetry, journaling, or writing letters to loved ones, it can just be a very enjoyable process. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and curl up with a disc-bound notebook and spend a little time expressing yourself through the written word. So stay home or get out there and have some fun and save some money this weekend. So for discussion, I'm curious, what are your favorite inexpensive activities to do on the weekend? And let me know if you are going to be doing any of these activities this weekend. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I publish new videos every Friday about paying off debt, saving more money, and finding more confidence and joy in your finances. Until next time, I hope your finances rock. Activity number 8, home, that was not an 8, that is a 7, 8. Pickle juice or liquid vinegar, because it'll make your popcorn melt.